Throughout the presentation, please feel free to submit your questions via the question and answer box on your webinar toolbar. Our speaker will take questions during a Q&A session at the conclusion of the presentation. Any questions that we are unable to answer, please feel free to submit via email after the webinar. Lastly, we will be giving away a free 2015 Fall Symposium registration to one of our registrants today. Stay tuned to see the winner later in the presentation. To kick things off, I would like to introduce Apra President and the Executive Director of Development Information Strategy at Princeton University, Allison Summers-Sayre.
Thank you, Ashley. Welcome to Apra's third annual virtual business meeting. Thank you for joining us today to learn more about our work this past year and what's coming up. We encourage you to participate via social media during this session. Share your experience through Twitter at #ApraBiz15 and #IamApra, and don't forget to follow us at ApraHQ. We'd love to hear how many folks from your group are in attendance at each site location, so please share that via Twitter. And of course, feel free to post on our Facebook page, perhaps a photo of your group enjoying the virtual business meeting. Before we get started with today's presentation, I would like to take a moment to recognize APRA's 2014-2015 volunteer leaders. Each executive committee member and director you see here has, with their individual contributions and through the work of the committees they've led, worked diligently to improve our opportunities as members to connect, learn, and grow as prospect development professionals. I've appreciated the opportunity to lead this group this past year, and I continue to be humbled by their dedication. I would like to thank them for their vision, for their commitment to our membership and to our field, as well as to the fundraising community in general. Later in our program, you'll learn more about your incoming board, including our new and returning members. In 2012, APRA introduced its last three-year strategic plan and supporting goals covering 2012 through this year, 2015, with a focus on fulfilling our mission of promoting the value and impact of prospect development professionals. Excuse me. You've heard about many of the accomplishments related to this current strategic plan, and we've made great strides in each of these areas over the last 3 years. I'd like to highlight some more recent activities and long-term initiatives. Since its introduction last year, the body of knowledge has continued to evolve, and Jen will share with you the specific enhancements in just a few minutes. The revamped new online store was recently launched, and the 2012-15 salary results, which we just released, updates this valuable member resource. There are 27 APRA chapters who make up a big part of the APRA community, and we have continued this past year our focus on the relationship between chapters and APRA International. Thanks to Liz McHugh, Director of Prospect Development at Phoenix Children's Hospital Foundation, for leading our chapters committee this past year. The chapter leaders meet quarterly via conference call and twice a year in face-to-face meetings to tackle challenges, discuss opportunities, brainstorm new ideas, and generally just work together. Here's a snapshot of all the attendees at our 4th Annual Chapter Leader Summit in Chicago. You can tell, even though it was winter in Chicago, we all enjoyed the company and lively discussion. Our next face-to-face meeting will be in conjunction with Prospect Development 2015 in New Orleans. This ongoing engagement not only solidifies ties between APRA International and its chapters, but it spurred lots of collaboration between chapters as well, and we're all enjoying the benefits, including increased opportunities to share content, speaker ideas for regional meetings, for example, articles for newsletters, chapter management ideas, and much more. As you can see here, we've been busy, and these are highlights of accomplishments we've made over the last year. A few of these you will hear about in more detail later in the program. Going forward, APRA International will continue to prioritize chapter engagement and advocacy and provide mechanisms for feedback and conversation. The second annual APRA Education Week, newly christened Chapters Share the Knowledge, developed in conjunction with chapter leaders, was a great success. The 10 days of complimentary education included new formats and highlighted content from 10 APRA chapters. Our most popular presentation, We Heart Data by APRA Great Plains, generated over 300 downloads. And we saw some great buzz on social media. New this year, APRA International is excited to announce the launch of a mentorship program for chapter leaders. Liz McHugh reached out to several past board members to get this initiative started to keep long-term industry leaders engaged and involved, as well as provide opportunities for them to share their expertise with the next generation of leaders. Some highlights in member benefits this past year include continuation of the important work started by Karen Isbell on advocacy for our members and profession. We recently made the decision to make the Advocacy Task Force a permanent committee due to the value of that task force work and the importance of that area for our community. Active partnering with outside associations to bring more value to our members. We've partnered with CASE, AASP, and ADRP, offering things like sharing knowledge, discounts, and other ways to partner. This past spring, we teamed up with Drive to offer the first Overdrive APRA Summit on fundraising intelligence, and that was very well received. I've initiated a review of and commitment to enhance our volunteer stewardship to better recognize all of our dedicated members who donate their time and expertise to our community. And thank you all to all who participated in our 2015 salary survey. This is a tool that members can use to advocate on behalf of themselves and their organizations. The body of knowledge continues to provide members with a professional development resource, and we have begun the process of adding a new domain related to campaigns. Since moving to its current digital format, Connections is even more compelling and valuable. Now I'm going to pass you over to Jill, who will provide some updates on membership.
Thank you, Allison, and good afternoon, everyone. A strong membership is essential to APRA's continued success. By facilitating a diverse group of professionals who can come together to share and discover best practices and ideas and contribute their unique experience to the greater community of prospect development professionals, we are all able to make a greater impact at our organizations. Here is a look at APRA's membership trends for the last 8 years, with year-end numbers for all but 2015, which is year-to-date. We'll continue to gain new members through this year's conference and anticipate the 2015 number, currently at 2,075, to grow over the next few months. New in 2014, APRA launched the organizational membership category. Organizations with 4 or more members are eligible. Organizational members receive tiered per-person discounts based on the number of members from the same organization, making it easier for every prospect development person on your team to stay engaged with APRA year after year. Over the past year, this program has increased in popularity. Last year, 10 organizations participated in the pilot program, totaling 103 members. To date, we have 82 organizations participating, totaling 623 members. Here is a quick look at the recent membership video, I Am APRA, that we started using in January to attract new members.
I was introduced to APRA when I transitioned into prospect development. In my first year, I attended annual conference. I quickly learned that this is not just a profession, but a community. There's a genuine interest in and a commitment to learn from each other and sharing with each other. A lot of us take that for granted, but when I first witnessed it after more than a decade in the private sector, to me it was a revolution. I volunteer for APRA because I feel it's incumbent upon me to pass on what I know, what I've learned, and to continue learning myself. And this dynamism of our community is part of what gets me to work here. It takes a village to keep on top of trends, to keep up with new information sources, tools, technologies, methodologies, and APRA is that village. I am APRA, and as a member, I can leverage the strength of our community. I can connect, learn, and grow.
Thanks in part to offerings from Apra and my local chapter, I was able to successfully transition into prospect development roles in higher education and healthcare environments. Apra helped me learn the profession from some of the most dedicated and talented people in it. Now I use those same resources to help identify and build my team's competencies and share with them the best practices, the new techniques, and latest trends. I am Apra, and I support the learning opportunities that benefit my organization and the field.
Many years ago, I joined a department that was not seen as a strategic arm of our fundraising organization. The staff there were not only underpaid, they were undervalued. No education or professional development was being provided to enhance their skills. I was able to use Apra's networking and information sharing to transform that disconnected research team into a thriving prospect development shop. I am Apra, and I've been happy to share that experience many times with others to help them advocate for themselves and for their teams.
When I began my career as a research analyst, I got involved with Apra in Illinois. As I've grown professionally, first leading a prospect research team at a large development shop in Chicago, and now supporting nonprofit organizations as a consultant, Apra has been there with me. Through Apra, I've built my network and leadership skills, learned about different development shops, kept up on the latest trends, and made great friends along the way. I am Apra, and I've grown up in the field with help from my peers.
Being the only researcher in my workplace means I have to look outside of my organization to expand my knowledge. My Apra connection opens the doors to new perspectives and best practices from around the world. These collaborations happen year-round through virtual and in-person networking. So even though I live in Canada, I'm able to meet and collaborate with great people outside my region. I am Apra, and I meet, greet, and tweet, connecting with colleagues from across the continent.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you for what ended up being, I think, a very moving and happy video. So now we're going to move on to a little bit more detail about what we've been working on. As I noted earlier, the new dynamic version of Connections is a great member benefit, sharing the expertise of professionals across our field. In addition to our regular circulation, the 2015 Q1 issue was also distributed to all Apra chapter members, whether or not they were a member of Apra International. And due to an increase in interest in strong content, our Q2 issue actually was the biggest edition ever at 36 pages. We've also realized a new revenue stream with sponsor support of the new format. Thanks to the editorial committee and all of you who've submitted articles and ideas to Connections this past year. We're always on the lookout for content and topics that will increase the value and relevance of this publication. So if you have ideas or would like to be part of it and contribute yourself, please don't hesitate to reach out to our staff editor, Dennis Coyle. Earlier this year, as I mentioned, Apra conducted the 2015 salary survey. The survey is updated every 3 years and provides our existing and prospective members with valuable data they can use to advocate on behalf of themselves and their organizations. Thank you to all who have participated. We had a strong participation rate, but please remember when this comes around again next time, the more respondents we have, the better the data we can share with you. Some key takeaways from this year's survey include that prospect development continues to diversify as a field, as a profession, and that really means that there's more opportunities for growth and specialization within the field. There's evidence of recent movement within the field. In other words, people seem to be taking new jobs. This all suggests a stronger job market. Overall, there's a sense of optimism as respondents expect their organizations to grow. And we also see an improving ratio of prospect development staff to fundraisers, which was great to see. Lastly, overall, our job satisfaction as a profession remains high, and that's really quite great to see as well. Since the 2015 salary survey data has become available only a few weeks ago, the report has been downloaded over 500 times. If you haven't already, please visit the online store to receive your complimentary member copy of this latest survey. With that, I'm going to turn the agenda back over to Jill, who will share an update on APRA's financials.
Thank you, Allison. The first financial slide shows the trends of revenues, expenses, and net income from 2006 to the 2015 forecast. 2007 remains to be a record year in revenue for APRA, driven by a strong annual conference and membership. APRA's revenue suffered during the economic downturn, and in 2009 and 2010, APRA did experience net losses. However, since 2011, APRA has turned its performance back around and continues to experience net income, which provides financial security for the organization. This next graph shows the trends of the annual conference revenue and expenses. In 2009 and 2010, judicious expense management was needed to counteract the decrease in attendance. APRA has seen growth in revenue over the years and had its highest attendance since the 2007 event in 2013. MARC revenues are most affected by attendance at the event. In 2013, the conference was moved to March and the weather did not cooperate, which led to decreased attendance. In 2014, we moved the MARC event back to its traditional timing in late spring and saw an uptick in attendance as a result. In 2012, APRA brought back the standalone symposium model. The 2013 event saw low attendance, which greatly affected the profitability of the event. However, event attendance has been trending upward since, and we expect strong attendance at the 2015 event. Membership revenues have been on a steady incline and are expected to be similar to the last couple of years. Expenses have remained relatively flat over the years and are expected to continue on this trend for 2015.
Thank you, Jill, for that update. With that, I will turn the agenda over to our President-elect, Jennifer McCormick, who will share an update on the body of knowledge, APRA's revamped online store, and upcoming events.
Thanks, Ashley. The body of knowledge has now been a benefit for our members for a full year. As you know, the body of knowledge is broken into 3 domains: data analytics, relationship management, and prospect research. However, we are actively working on including a 4th domain for campaigns, which is represented here by the 4th icon in purple. Creating a new domain for the body of knowledge is not the only work we've been doing in relation to this resource. The conference tracks at MARC 2015 and Prospect Development 2015 are aligned to the body of knowledge. Additionally, the Online Curriculum Committee has been working hard to map the body of knowledge to all of APRA's educational offerings, and the online store has been updated to reflect this change. You can now search by domain to find the education tailored to your needs. For example, when you go into data analytics, you can find all the educational offerings tied to that domain. Once in a domain, you can review the presenter, pricing details, competencies, as well as what they will learn before purchasing this offering. APRA is now also offering products ready for purchase, included a branded travel mug and vest. If you haven't already, visit the online store at apra.com. APRA also has a full slate of live and on-demand educational offerings for you. We have a best practice webcast on September 23rd at 1 p.m. Central on investment advisors, where to find financial information, and how to make sense of it all, presented by Rosalind Clark of Harvard University. We also have our Online Solutions Showcase and our Wealth Engine online seminar series. With 210 attendees and 10 exhibitors, MARC was a huge success this year, and I want to thank all the fantastic volunteers who worked hard to make this such a great conference. Last fall, APRA began looking at the MARC conference and examining the regional model and investigated the thought of expanding the regional conference nationwide to offer more face-to-face educational opportunities in various regions in the United States and possibly North America. Upon further conversations with key stakeholders, including APRA chapter leaders, the decision was made to expand the regional conference model nationwide. This new regional conference will be based upon the successful model of the Mid-Atlantic Regional Conference, currently APRA's only regional conference. This new conference will be called APRA Regional Conference, or ARC, and it will provide a face-to-face educational event annually in various regions of North America. ARC will be fully under the leadership of Apra, with educational planning provided by the chapters in the region. ARC will move around the country to balance geographically with the Apra International Conference. ARC will provide a focus on regional issues, offering specialized programming to highlight the local flavor and flair. ARC will be purposely kept to a smaller, more intimate event than the Apra International Conference to allow for more networking, and will be at a similar cost to the MARC conference, keeping costs lower than the International Conference to be budget-friendly. ARC will only be held in areas where Apra chapters would welcome the event. However, because of budget constraints, Apra is not able to offer more than one regional conference a year, and so the MARC conference is now being retired. Another key reason behind this decision to move the regional conference to different regions yearly is to prevent volunteer burnout, as has been witnessed in the Mid-Atlantic region for the past several years. But Apra and ARC will be back in Mid-Atlantic in the years to come. Apra is truly grateful to the MARC volunteers throughout the year who have put on great conferences. Apra is happy to announce that the first annual ARC conference will be held in the Midwest in June 2016. Stay tuned for more details very soon. And we're getting closer to Apra's signature event, Prospect Development 2015, that will be held at the beautiful New Orleans Marriott July 22nd to the 25th. Attendees will be introduced to new, engaging, and exciting formats with information that you can use in your daily roles to help you get ahead. And backed by a popular demand, Apra talks with brand new presenters. We will also continue to offer our data analytics and new researcher symposia. If you haven't signed up yet, don't delay. We're also excited to have Dan Pilata as our keynote speaker. Dan is a builder of movements who has created events for several charities, including the Breast Cancer 3-Day Walks and the Multi-Day AIDS Rides. He's the author of Uncharitable: How Restraints on Nonprofits Undermine Their Potential, which was a best-selling title in the history of Tufts University Press. Also, if you haven't already, download the mobile app. Visit the App Store and search Apra 2015. You can use the registration login and password you used to register to access the app. This year's app offers enhanced networking features, an upgrading scheduling tool, and much more. Here are the instructions to download and begin building your agenda. The 2015 Fall Symposium will be campaigns and will be held in Tempe, Arizona, November 5th through 6th. The faculty for this year's symposium is chaired by Rachel Schaefer and includes Katrina Klaproth, Kaylee Hystrom, and Allie McLean. This symposium is geared toward teaching the fundamentals of campaigns and is aligned with the new body of knowledge domain on the same subject. I'm now excited to announce the winner of a complimentary full conference registration to the Fall Symposium.
Congratulations to Lori Creek at Eastern Illinois University. We look forward to seeing you at the 2015 Fall Symposium in Tempe, Arizona, and we will be in contact with you following the meeting.
Congratulations and thanks, Ashley. Finally, save the date for Prospect Development 2016, taking place in Nashville, Tennessee. With that, I'll turn the agenda back to Allison, who will share an update on the 2015-2016 board.
Thank you, Jen. I'm going to share results of our election process, but first I want to give you a sneak peek of our next strategic plan. Details will be finalized at our July board meeting, but we can share the strategic pillars. Thank you to the board members who have devoted considerable time this past year to this process. The 4 pillars are advocacy, organizational unity and cohesion, diversification and growth, and career and leadership development. Now back to the election process. Apra's election process is crucial to our ongoing success, ensuring that we identify and engage emerging leaders and acknowledge the talent that is represented by our diverse membership base. Our bylaws allow the Apra membership to elect our president-elect, and other key officers, as well as new directors. During this year's election process, the Apra Nominations and Leadership Development Committee sought your nominations, then presented a slate of officer and director candidates for consideration. The slate consisted of the following individuals. For the 2015-2016 Executive Committee, Jennifer McCormick for President, Jill Meister for President-elect, Liz Redgman for Treasurer, Lauren Dixon for Secretary, and I automatically become immediate past President. And the new 2015-2016 Director nominees are Mark Egge, Ashutosh Nandeshwar, and Amy Turbas. I'm pleased to announce that the slate was overwhelmingly approved by members electronically. Congratulations to the 2015-2016 officers, the new directors, and to our continuing directors, Bon Lammy, Jennifer Fry, Henry Lau, and Emily Walsh. The 2015-2016 APRA board term begins September 1st, 2015. On September 1st, as a board, we also bid farewell to several board members. We will start with Karen Isbell. Karen has served on the board since 2010 and was our president last year. She served on the governance and nominations committees as well as several task forces. Given her passion for advocacy, Karen played a critical role in launching and leading the Advocacy Task Force and ultimately spearheading the formulation of the Advocacy Committee. In addition to being on the board of directors since 2012, Sandra Campero has been APRA secretary, served on the governance and ethics committees and several task forces. She's also worked to enhance the relationships with APRA's chapters. Dina Zalecki, on the board since 2012, has been a strong advocate for the APRA chapters with deep involvement in the chapter summits, helping to facilitate chapter-to-chapter involvement. She's been dedicated to forming relationships with industry partners and has been instrumental in her commitment to volunteer stewardship. Thank you to Karen, Sandra, and Dina for their dedicated service to the board. Now I'd like to take just a moment to tell you a little bit about our new directors. I'm excited to announce the addition of Mark Egge to our board. Mark is currently a senior manager of prospect management with the United Way of Twin Cities. He's a former president of APRA Minnesota, chair of the Resources Subgroup, and is a member of the APRA Chapter Committee. He's also played an active role in the program development for this year's New Researchers Symposium, and he's serving as co-chair of that event. Hopefully, many of you were able to hear Ashutosh Nandeshwar's fantastic closing keynote presentation at Drive this past spring. Ashutosh currently holds the position of Director in Advancement Information Systems and Analytics at Caltech. He's an accomplished speaker and author of the Tableau Data Visualization Cookbook. Amy Turbas currently holds the position of Director Prospect Development and Campaign Strategy at Creighton University. She's been involved with several committees, including EPD, nominations, and CPC over the years, as well as being Great Plains Chapter Chair and President. Now it's my sincere pleasure to introduce you to APRA's 2015 award winners. These dedicated professionals will be formally recognized at Prospect Development 2015 this summer. But we wanted to tell you a little more about them today. Margaret Fury Grant is given to a prospect development professional based on his or her leadership, mentorship, volunteerism, and dedication to our profession. The 2015 Fury Grant recipient is Lindsay O'Donoghue, Director of Prospect Development and Donor Relations at the Kalamazoo College. The Distinguished Service Award honors an individual who has enhanced both the prospect development profession and APRA through exceptional contributions beyond his or her daily job. The 2015 award recipient is Mark DeFilippis, Director of Prospect Development at the Nature Conservancy. The APRA Scholarship, which allows a member to attend the annual conference at no cost, is awarded based on both merit and institutional financial need, and the 2015 scholarship recipient is Julie Wright, Research Coordinator at the Perez Art Museum, Miami. The APRA Professional of the Year Award recognizes an outstanding prospect development professional who has made a significant positive impact on his or her organization's success in fulfilling its mission. The 2015 recipient is Margaret Williams, Director of Prospect Research at University of South Dakota Foundation. We look forward to sharing with APRA members in New Orleans the recipients of our Distinguished Service Award, and our Visionary Award will be awarded this year. And before we go to questions, I want to recognize that none of the opportunities that APRA offers each year would be possible without the hard work of our staff team led by APRA Executive Director Janet Rapp. I hope many of you have had a chance to meet Janet and other team members at prior conferences. You'll definitely have a chance to do so in New Orleans. Here's a quick look at the staff members who support Apra International. Their contact information is also available on our website, so don't hesitate to find the contact you need to assist with your requests. Thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you in New Orleans. Don't forget to share your experience on social media and to tweet how many folks joined you from your organization today. And now we're going to open the floor to questions.
One question that we have received so far is, where is the Apra video located, and is it being used in member recruitment? The Apra video is located on the Apra website under membership, and yes, we are using this tool for recruitment.
I'd like to add, Ashley, too, that if anybody listening today has any other ideas about how we can spread the scope of that video, please let us know. Sometimes members themselves are the best ones to tell us how they should be marketed to. So we appreciate your comments.
Thank you, Allison. Another question that has come in, you mentioned the advocacy committee. What will the focus of that group be? It looks like the focus of the advocacy committee will be to discuss promoting value of prospect development and the role that the professionals play in the fundraising team, forming partnerships with other industry organizations to show the value of Apra and its members. Does anyone want to elaborate on that?
I can add a couple comments. The advocacy work, it's been an interesting process in that we have discussed everything from, very high arching sort of philosophical ideas about how do we promote members of our profession down to very specific, we should partner with this organization or get an article in this particular publication. So it really runs the gamut. But the basic thinking, as you mentioned, is really highlighting the important work we do and doing that that are our customers in the fundraising community, but also helping people have the tools to advocate for themselves within their organizations with things like the salary survey. So it's a pretty broad-reaching initiative.
Thank you, Allison. One other question. What is the reasoning for the change from Mark? And I think I'll hand this over to our treasurer, Jill Meister.
Sure. There were a variety of reasons. First I want to stress the least of which it was not based on any financial decision. It was based on, opportunity for more Apra members to have access to that type of event, and so that more of, when you have staff members who could attend an event, recognizing that the international conference can have, a larger expense and longer travel, and that's harder, with the life-work balance and whatnot, whereas the smaller event like the ARC conference and the MARC conference makes it easier for staff. Those were some of the reasons behind, changing it from MARC to an ARC conference. And also, let me add also to allow us to be in a variety of locations where we normally, probably couldn't be. For example, in the Pacific Northwest, in some of the areas in the Southwest, like Oklahoma and New Mexico, Arizona, places like that we're looking to in the future years to come. No promises we're going to be there, but that's the rationale behind the decision.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to add too is someone who's been in the MARC region all of the time I've been in this field is, and Jill touched on this during the presentation, but these kind of MARC, even more so than in a lot of ways than our international conference, is very dependent on volunteer support, and that's part of the way that we can make it a slightly lower price point, and it's ends up being quite a burden on a particular area to have volunteers. If we can if we can lessen some of that burden, I think the level of volunteer commitment and support we can get when the regional conferences in that area will be that much greater. And it's just sort of being more realistic about the kind of time that volunteers can give year after year.
Thank you. One other question. I am still not sure how the body of knowledge can benefit me. How are members using it? I'll let our President-elect Jen McCormick answer that question.
Sure. Well, you know, I would highly recommend checking out Stephen Rowe's webinar that he recently presented, and that's available on the online store and on the Apra website. And I think that's a great resource to look at how someone has implemented it in their shop, and he gives some really good details of how he's done that. I think as well you can look at to the body of knowledge for a source for writing job descriptions, guiding staff for yourself in what you'd like to know. Where are your areas of strength and where are your growth opportunities? And also this at Prospect Development 2015, there will be 2 sessions, 1 workshop actually presented by myself and Amy Turbis on how to implement the body of knowledge, and then also another session on the campaign domain. So there's just multiple ways that you can use it, and promotion as well. So, but definitely check out that webinar, and if you're at the conference, consider attending the workshop for this session.
Thank you, Jen. Another question that's come in. I saw in Apra Update the information about creating ethics guidelines for my shop. Can you share some details about that? Jill, I'll pass that one over to you.
Sure. So these were drawn up to give some hints, advice, not necessarily should be considered legal advice, but some ways you can go about, you know, ways to gather internal and external data gathering and some just suggested next steps and links. The full guide to creating an ethics guidelines can be found on APRA's website in the Ethical and Professional Standards section.
Thank you, Jill. One question, are there opportunities currently on the advocacy, volunteer opportunities?
I assume that means on the advocacy committee.
Yes.
I think that's, Jen is responsible actually for filling out the advocacy, or filling out all the committees. But it's, she can speak to specifically that committee, but also I want to make sure that people understand too that there's, in a lot of these committees there are not necessarily a lot of slots. That doesn't mean people can't be involved and can't have conversations. We all monitor Prospect L and we love to hear what people have to say, and that informs a lot of our ideas. If you know somebody who ends up being a committee member, even if it's not you, please feel free to share with them. If you feel free to share with a board member. So role is great, but it's not the only way you can contribute. Jen, do you want to talk to that, to the where we are in committee build out?
Yeah, the committees, we're starting to slot some of the chair roles in these committees in this next month, and from there we're going to be filling out those committees with other volunteers. So you can hear more about that. If you have any questions about that, you can certainly reach out to me.
And actually, this is Janet. If I could add, there's also an opportunity via the APRA website for any members to submit their interest in serving on a committee or task force. So please feel free to use that tool on the website.
Okay, that's all the questions that we have received. So I will go ahead and thank everyone so much for attending. We'll see you in New Orleans, and this presentation is also recorded. We'll be posting it on the Apra website on the virtual business meeting page. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you.